Tonight, you might be sitting in a room full of people. A partner, kids, roommates, ATV playing in the background. And still, there it is. That quiet, hollow ache right in the center of your chest. Not sadness. Exactly. Something stranger. Something that makes no sense. Because you are not alone. So, why does it feel like you are? Here is the thing most people never find out. Loneliness has almost nothing to do with how many people are around you. Your brain is not counting bodies in the room. It is scanning for something else entirely. Something older. Something your ancestors needed to survive. And modern life, with all its noise and notifications and crowded spaces, is almost perfectly designed to starve you of it. This is not a self-help video. This is the actual science of what your nervous system is looking for. And once you understand it, that hollow feeling starts to make a very different kind of sense. Let us go back. Way back. For 99% of human history, you did not live in a city. You did not live in a neighborhood. You did not even live in a town. You lived in a band, a small, tight group of somewhere between 20 and 50 people. You knew every single one of them, their voices, their habits, their fears, their histories. And more importantly, they knew you. Not your username, not your job title. You, the version of you that cried when something hurt. That failed publicly. That got sick and needed help getting back up. And here is what makes that ancient life so different from yours. There was no performance. You could not curate yourself. You could not show only the good days. You could not disappear into a screen when things got uncomfortable. Everyone saw everything. Your grief, your anger, your confusion, your joy. All of it witnessed in real time by people who were not going anywhere. Robin Dunbar is a British anthropologist and evolutionary psychologist at the University of Oxford. He spent decades studying the social structures of primates and humans. What he found became known as Dunbar's number. The idea is simple. The human brain has a cognitive limit. It can maintain genuine social relationships with roughly 150 people. Deep, meaningful relationships, the kind where there is real trust and real history, with maybe 15. And your closest circle of true intimacy? 5, maybe fewer. For your ancestors, those 5 people were always there. They slept near you. They watched you survive hard winters. They witnessed the parts of you that were not polished or presentable. They were not followers. They were witnesses. That is the word. Witnesses. And your brain, the same brain you are using right now, was built to need witnesses. Here is where it gets uncomfortable. John Cacioppo was a neuroscientist at the University of Chicago. He spent over 30 years studying loneliness, and what he found changed the way researchers understand the human mind. Loneliness, he showed, is not an emotion. It is a biological signal. The same way hunger tells your body it needs food, loneliness tells your nervous system it has lost something critical to survival. In your ancestors' world, being cut off from the group meant death. No one hunted alone for long. No one survived a harsh winter in isolation. Social disconnection was a life-threatening emergency. So your brain evolved an alarm system, and that alarm does not check whether you have 50 friends online. It does not care how many people are in your house. It asks one question, over and over, in a language older than words. Am I truly known? Not liked. Not followed. Not entertained. Known, Cacioppo and his colleagues found something else. When they put lonely people inside brain scanners and showed them images of social threats, a cold look, a turned back, an exclusionary gesture, their brains lit up in the same regions associated with physical pain. The rejection was not metaphorical. It was neurological. Your brain processes being unseen the same way it processes being hit. That is how serious this signal is. That is how much your body depends on being witnessed. And here is the cruel irony of modern life. We have never been more surrounded. And we have never triggered that alarm more consistently. Think about the average day. You wake up and check a phone that shows you a feed of hundreds of people's highlight reels. You drive to a job where you make small talk with colleagues you will never call in a crisis. You sit in open offices packed with people and still send emails to the person 3 desks away. You come home to people you love, but rarely have the time or the energy to really see. You scroll, you watch, you like, you fall asleep. Presence without depth, connection without witness. And the more time you spend in surface-level interaction, the more your brain registers the gap. Not consciously. You will not always be able to name it. But your nervous system keeps score. Susan Pinker is a developmental psychologist and author of The Village Effect. She spent years studying communities with unusually high longevity, places in Sardinia, Italy, where people routinely live past 100. What she found was not about diet. It was not about exercise. It was about face-to-face contact. Specifically, the kind of contact where you are seen by people who know your full story. Not acquaintances. Not followers. People who have watched you over time. She found that having a close circle of people who really know you is one of the strongest predictors of how long you will live. Stronger than quitting smoking. Stronger than obesity. Stronger than almost any physical health factor you could name. Being witnessed is not a nice thing to have. It is a survival mechanism your body is actively depending on. So why does your brain keep triggering the alarm even when the house is full? Because your nervous system is not fooled by proximity. It can feel the difference between being near someone and being known by them. It can feel when the conversation stays on the surface. It can feel when the people around you know your schedule, but not your interior life. It can feel when you are performing, playing a role, presenting a version of yourself rather than actually being seen. And modern life is almost entirely performance. Social media trained you to curate. Work culture trained you to be professional. Even family dinners have scripts. How are you? Fine. How was your day? Busy, good, good. No one is lying. But no one is being witnessed either. There is another layer to this that almost no one talks about. Loneliness changes the way you see other people. Cacioppo's research showed that when the loneliness alarm is running, your threat detection system ramps up. Your brain starts interpreting neutral expressions as hostile. A distracted glance becomes evidence of rejection. A delayed text becomes proof of abandonment. A quiet moment becomes confirmation that something is wrong with you. This is not paranoia. This is an ancient calibration. In the ancestral environment, social threat was real. Reading rejection signals accurately could mean the difference between survival and exile. Your brain learned to stay alert. But in modern life, that same calibration misfires constantly. You walk into a room already braced for rejection. You hold back the real version of yourself to protect against judgment. You stay on the surface because going deeper feels too risky. And every time you do that, you make genuine connection less likely. Loneliness is not just painful. It is self-reinforcing. The alarm that was supposed to push you toward connection ends up keeping you away from it. Here is where it gets both harder and more hopeful. Researchers studying social bonds have found that deep familiarity does not happen through big moments. It does not require dramatic heart-to-heart conversations or confessional breakthroughs. It builds through what psychologists call accumulated micro-moments. Small, repeated interactions where you show up as yourself and the other person stays. Where you say something real and it is received without judgment. Where you are tired or irritable or uncertain and the relationship holds anyway. Your ancestors accumulated those moments automatically. They were woven into the daily structure of life in a small band. You have to create those conditions on purpose. Because the world around you will not create them for you. So what is actually happening when you feel that hollow ache in a full room? Your body is not confused. It is not broken. It is working exactly as designed. It is looking for witnesses. And it is not finding them. Not because the people around you are bad or distant or wrong, but because the structure of modern life does not create the conditions for real witnessing. Deep familiarity takes time. It takes repetition. It takes seeing someone in their worst moments and choosing to stay. It takes being seen in yours. Your ancestors had that built into their daily lives. You have to build it deliberately. That is the shift. Not more people. Not busier social calendars. Not better small talk. One person, maybe two, who know the real version of you and stick around anyway. One relationship where you do not have to perform, where you can say the thing that is actually true and not the thing that sounds fine. Dunbar's research shows that even a single close relationship, what he calls the innermost circle, can protect against the worst effects of social isolation. You do not need a village in the ancient sense, but you need at least one person who functions like one witness. That hollow feeling you carry into crowded rooms is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a signal from a nervous system that has been running the right program in the wrong environment. It is ancient intelligence pointing at a modern gap. A gap between the social world you were built for and the one you were handed. The solution is not to fix yourself. It is to build, slowly, deliberately, imperfectly, one relationship that actually goes deep. To let someone see the part of you that is not performing. To stay when they show you theirs. Tonight, you might be sitting in a room full of people, and that hollow feeling might still be there. But now you know what it is. It is not emptiness. It is a signal, an ancient one, and it has a name, and it has a cause, and it has an answer that has nothing to do with how many people are in the room. Just one person who really knows you are there. That is what your brain has been looking for all along. If this video made you stop and think, if it put words to something you have been feeling without being able to name it, then share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss a video like this one. Every week, we go deep into the science of what makes us human. Give this video a like if it opens something up for you. Because the more people this reaches, the fewer people feel alone in that hollow room. See you in the next one.